Okay, I think we're ready. Welcome, Internet. Happy Friday night. Games. Maybe we'll do. I'm not sure what we'll do yet. We'll figure it out. Turn this down just a smidge. Just a smidge. Okay. So, let's set the scene, shall we? Self-compassion.
Many of us believe that being tough on ourselves is the key to success, but research in neuroscience and psychology tells us a different story. Self-criticism actually triggers the threat response in our brains, releasing stress hormones that can impair performance and well-being. Self-compassion, on the other hand, activates the caregiving system, releasing oxytocin and endorphins that promote feelings of safety and connectedness. This doesn't mean letting yourself off the hook. It's about responding to challenges with kindness and understanding, just as you would a good friend. By practicing self-compassion, you're creating a neurochemical environment that's more conducive to learning, growth, and resilience.
Yeah, I love this this video. I know I myself struggle with beating the shit out of myself. So by all means, if you're just joining us now, one's in the chat if you feel like you have issues with your self-talk and being compassionate to yourself. Oftentimes it is far easier for us to be kind to others, right? But we're often our own hardest critics. That is something that I, over the past 6 months, have done a lot of work on. I've been in and out of therapy now for over 10 years. So I've had a long time to practice it. But in my own healing journey, because one's work is never done, and we should be working on ourselves our entire life, only good things can come of that. I know that that's something that I've really worked on a lot over the past 6 months and have made great strides in, is learning to love myself, but more importantly, be compassionate. So self-compassion, treat yourself like someone that you are responsible for caring for. Treat yourself how you would treat your best friend, right? Because you should be your best friend. So what else about self-compassion? What can we learn here? We'll set the scene with just a couple of short videos, and then we'll dive in to kind of a more longer videos and a more thorough discussion.
Hey Jim, so what is self-compassion and how do you develop it?
Self-compassion is actually a crucial element to healing, especially from trauma and abuse. And it's something that I think probably most of us were never really taught how to have. We can be a lot more compassionate towards other people than ourselves. But there's 3 aspects to developing compassion for yourself. The first of all is recognizing your own suffering, because compassion is when you recognize somebody's suffering and you want to make a difference. So you have to start by recognizing your own suffering, how difficult this is. And then recognize the common humanity in it, that you're not the only one going through this. You're not alone in it. And then you start talking to yourself like you would to a good friend, with that same kind of kindness that you would for a good friend. That's how you begin to develop it.
So I know this is only a minute-long video, but man, I really love this video. You guys should see my playlist. I feel like I'm like a digital hoarder, guys. I literally have a problem. I have like all these playlists of like different videos on psych topics, from everything from like dating to attachment to compassion, integrity, just all kinds of crazy psych topics, because that's what I like to do in my free time, because I'm a psych nerd. But I love this video. What did he say here?
So you have to start
recognizing everyone's common humanity. I feel like this is such a paradigm shift for me, really, in the last couple of years, of just being humble enough to accept the fact that I'm a human being, and because of that, I have flaws, and I'm not always going to do the right thing. I always try to do the right thing, but realistically, in life, there's always going to be times when we fuck up. That's just reality, right? And I think recognizing that we live in a world of human beings, but I am also a human being, I personally find helps me a lot to not beat up on myself so hard when I do make mistakes, right? Because everyone's got flaws, everyone's imperfect. Yeah, and then I like his, what did he say after that?
This is.
Nervous for Monday. What are you nervous about Monday for? How's everyone's weekend? Or how's everyone's week, rather? I know I'm super happy to be heading into the weekend right now. I am, like, just going to sleep all weekend. I wish, actually. Oh, nice. Military physical. Like your PFT? Yeah. You didn't know that I knew what PFT was. And MEPS. And all that stuff. Your boy knows quite a bit about the military. I'm not a veteran, but I know quite a bit about the military. Still got to take your test again and got to get a score of 21. You're so scared. It's MEPS. Gotcha. Oh, okay. Military physical. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I feel like MEPS is not that bad. It's mostly a lot of like sitting in chairs and waiting. If you're reasonably healthy, I feel like you won't have a problem getting through it, and you're a younger guy, so you'll be totally fine, dude. So there you go. This is an opportunity to practice some positive self-talk. What do you feel like your fears are about going to MEPS? Not that you're worried about. Is it the ASVAB that you're worried about? What are 3 keys to self-compassion that we need to know, y'all? Yo, if y'all working on your self-compassion, put some ones in the chat.
At least 3 elements to self-compassion. There's the kindness, which is kind of the most obvious. Also mindfulness. Mindfulness is the ability to be...
I feel like we should do an entire stream on mindfulness. We actually have like a little bit of a guided meditation at the end of tonight. That's like a self-compassion, mindfulness meditation exercise. So feel free to stick around with that. Have an attempt on myself from 2 years ago, and I'm scared I won't be able to join because of that. Since then, to work on your mental health, for sure. I mean, I got better without medication and counseling when I went to the hospital. I don't know how to write it down. Yeah, I mean, I would say if you choose to disclose, then just kind of try to talk about the fact that that was a long time ago and what you've done since then and how your mental health is feeling these days. Again, if you decide to disclose, which I think, I could see an argument for either one, right? I think certainly ethically, I can understand why you'd want to disclose something like that. I don't know if it was just a car crash or me doing it with car. Yeah, that makes total sense. I'm gonna be honest with you. My mean method of choice, is that they're better at tracking that stuff, but to what extent they're better at tracking it, I really don't know. Again, I've never had it be an issue for me, and I've considered joining the military like several times in my past. Like every couple of years when I was younger, I was like, yeah, maybe I'll join the military. I'll just go through MEPS and we'll figure it out. So, and I've never had it been disqualified for anything going through MEPS about stuff that I've done in my past. And I've had a very colorful past. I've been very, very unhealed at various times in my life. So I can totally understand it. But I also think tying it into a relationship with someone, get married and be like, this is my person, I'm going to be with them for the rest of my life, and then it not work out and it just like really negatively affect me. So I totally get where you're coming from, dude. Honestly, the fact that you've been able to pull through it on the other side and are living a life where you're happy, I think it's a testament to, how strong a character you have and your resilience, right? Because, yeah, divorce, they say, is one of the most traumatic things we can go through in life. So, I mean, but again, if that shit comes up, tell the fucking recruiter that. Like, yo, dude, I was going through a divorce and it's fucking traumatic because it's divorce. You know what I mean? And they're going to understand. Also, to be fair, military guys have terrible statistics on divorce. They're actually the highest population of divorce. Oh, okay, you did tell them that. Cool. What did they say? Did they say anything? Did they say that it might be like something that's held against you or something? Because if they did, that's pretty...
with some space and distance, but also some connection. And then third element, really, really important, is a sense of humanity, a sense of shared humanity. This is what makes compassion different than pity. If I said to you, oh, Sarah, I really pity you, you're not gonna like that because that means I'm looking down on you. But if I say, hey, I've been there, I can really relate to what you're feeling, you're gonna like that. That's compassion because it's saying, I'm a human being, you're a human being, this happens to human beings. And so those three elements together is what we measure in the self-compassion scale, and which is really the foundation of.
I like this thing that you mentioned on compassion. I think our next stream will probably do an actual talk about compassion. So tonight we're going to talk about self-compassion, having compassion for yourself. But I also think having a conversation about what compassion for others looks like. Because I know I in particular have had times where I've really struggled. Military is a chief impact, though, military or not. If it was me personally, I probably wouldn't. I don't know how I feel about that ethically, but I probably wouldn't. Lord knows I've left out a lot of my mental health history back when I tried to join the military years ago on several occasions. But I also think I invite you to think about the worst case scenario and to kind of muster the confidence that no matter how this turns out, you'll figure out a way to make things work out. You know what I mean? Even if you get rejected and then you got to go and go to a different recruiter or consider joining a different branch, that sort of thing. Or hell, even go see a clinical psychologist and get, like, you know, medically cleared, and maybe having some kind of write-up from a psychologist or something might help you.
Which keeps you trapped in the cycle. But more on that after this cute little nut cracks.
It's the weirdest animation ever, y'all.
Okay, so you messed up. You just yelled at your kid, or you blew up in a meeting, or your girlfriend broke up with you, or on the other hand, you're a perfectionist. You work your tail off, but you can't fix everything for everyone every time. So then you start beating yourself up. You say, oh, why am I such an idiot? Or you say to yourself, I'm the worst parent. Or why do I have to have such a big mouth? And you stress yourself out. You think, oh, I'm probably ruining my kid for life. Or you threaten yourself. I deserve to be fired for sure. Or you criticize yourself. I can never do things right. You filter out the memories of the good and you only highlight what's wrong. Don't believe me? Would it be easier for you to write a list of your flaws or your strengths?
Oof. Yo, I really like this question right here. Flaws versus strengths. What does everybody think? I feel like for me, as I've gotten a healthier relationship with myself now, this list can be a little bit more balanced. But definitely when I was younger, it would have been like just tearing myself apart.
That is mental filtering.
100%.
Maybe you believe that you're broken, defective, you're never good enough, and on you go, beating yourself up. We imagine that if we just beat ourselves up, that's going to motivate us to fix something, to improve, to not mess up next time. But instead, the technique backfires. It leaves us feeling helpless, overwhelmed, and unmotivated.
That's so funny. On the topic of beating yourself up. So I'm actually